You're listening to the Living Mandala podcast. My name is Arth. And the conversation continues with color and the Living Mandala. We've gone through Roy G. Biv, right? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And now we're moving into like a new territory of color. We're going to do black, and then we've got white, and then we've got neutrals. Okay, so these last three episodes are going to be, slightly different, I think, than the others. And yet, I hope they'll be just as interesting as always. So again, I'm joined with Nicole Cullum here from Color Caravan. ColorCaravan.com is the website. You can find out more information about all of her beautiful textiles and wallpapers and the way she uses color. But today we're going to talk about black. We're going to talk about the color black and, sort of where it's found in nature, right? Where is it found in nature? Black is, we've got stones. There's stones that are black,
So black is such a controversial power color. Is it a color?
Is it a color?
The eternal
Start there.
right? So, color is white, embodies all of the colors because light is shown through and refracts the spectrum of the wavelengths and color shows up on it. Now, black is the absence of light.
Right. So is it even a color?
Is it even a color?
Well,
but
for our purposes, it will be.
But yet it exists. So black is one of the first colors shown. I'm going to go with color because that's the best way to talk about it. It's one of the first colors that was shown up in prehistoric art because they would burn bones. They would burn charcoal, and they would take the pieces of charcoal and draw with the soot. And they'd use the dust, and they'd put their hands up on the wall and blow the dust over their hands and create those amazing handprints we see in cave art. So black was one of the first colors used in prehistoric art.
Right, makes sense, and but we don't eat a lot of black.
Well, black is typically, what are black foods?
I can't even think of one.
I mean, usually black is associated in the food aspect with rotting or
right.
toxicity, danger.
I mean, I'm thinking I can think of some black stones, onyx, etc. Obsidian,
which is a protective stone,
right? But I'm not thinking of many. I think there's probably pupils of our eyes are black.
Right.
People can have black hair.
And why is that? Because we absorb light into the center of our irises, and the cones are behind there, and they read.
Wow, I've literally never thought about that. But yeah, I think you're right.
Yep.
So, deriving black from nature, from charcoal, makes a lot of sense, in order to use it. Now, the spiritual dimensions of black are very interesting. They're not, black is not associated overtly with, one of the chakras. So I don't, have a past episode to point you to go listen to it. But certainly, in terms of wearing black, it can detract from your aura. It can help, shut down your aura in some ways. But what's interesting too is wearing black can actually help you hide or blend in, especially if your aura is really bright. So it can actually function as spiritual armor,
like a cloak.
Exactly. And of course, spiritual, and, we're going to get into religious dimensions, but, I'm thinking about, priests and nuns, and a lot of clergy will wear black for its humility, I think, but also, I don't know,
it's mixed. So it's mixed because, in the 14th century, magistrates and government officials began to wear black robes as a sign of importantness and a sign of seriousness. Black became associated with the merchant class because there was these rich black furs that came out of Russia that were exotic and hard to get. And so they, the merchant class wasn't allowed to wear reds or purples or blues. Those were exclusive to clergy and nobility. So they embodied black, and black has since become a symbol of power. It's a power color. Like businessmen wear black. not only as a way to not stand out, but also to quietly exude power.
Right. It's got a presence. It does. For sure. Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. Black is fascinating like that. The emotional dimensions of black. I mean, I don't know, what all we can say about a black. I mean, in the auric field, when it shows up, it's basically not a good thing.
It's not that great in your auric field.
It's not.
I wouldn't want to say that. But because, most people, studies have been done on black where most people associate black with fear or with death. It's a color of mourning and
The Grim Reaper.
Exactly. But, feeling-wise, black is associated with power. It's associated with prestige. It's also associated with fear and sadness. Think depression. You can have, it's funny, I read this thing that teenagers wear black because they are transitioning from childhood to adulthood. So they're experiencing a death of their child.
Fascinating.
Right? Doesn't that kind of like put the pieces together of like, God, why is my kid always wearing black? Well, they're doing it without honestly knowing it, but they're experiencing a transition. Which my mother hated, by the way.
That just blew my mind. I remember at least my daughter went through a little brief, all black.
But they're doing it
unconsciously. Artists aren't we all supposed to wear black berets and like little?
Well, that's the power prestige aspect of it. It also has an intellectual aspect to it,
right?
Where think of Coco Chanel, a little black dress. It's an air of sophistication that you will always look sophisticated. You won't stick out, but you will always have an air of power.
It's true.
Like as opposed to wearing the little red dress.
Right. Very different vibration.
Very different.
And in terms of vibration, black, on that spectrum of color, to your point earlier, is it even a color? I mean, it predates red. I mean, it's like, it's the slowest vibrational color.
The void.
Is it even a color? Again, I'll ask you again and again. In chemistry, there's a phenomenon called a black box generator. And it's an infrared. It's typically an infrared. So it's located in that spectrum below red. It's a heat source. A black box generator is a heat source. It's a way to generate heat. And it's in those lower, slower vibrational parts of the spectrum below red.
Well, think about the black box on airplanes, right? So black, in our early American days was associated with witchcraft,
sure,
and secrecy,
sure,
and the devil, right? Those the witches' familiars were usually black animals, the raven, black cats. That's why they have that kind of stigma attached to them. And then yet we have the black box on airplanes that we always search for to hold the secrets of the mystery of what happened to that aircraft. I literally just put that together.
Wow. Well, and the little dot I connected was, and then, the incredibly controversial topic of skin color, black skin color. I love the reclamation of black, with like the Black Panthers and Black Power and all of those things that you were just talking about.
Power color.
It's a power color, undeniably, which is very cool. That's a cool reclamation. Okay, so in terms of, design and, as a go-to, where would you talk about using black strategically?
So black has become, such the darling of the interior design community lately. So you see a lot of black exterior colors.
Oh, right.
Black is an excellent trim color. So exterior trim colors used interior on staircases. So the metal staircase or window trims, it's a focal point. You can use it in a room. It has been done, and it is very dramatic to have like an all black room. Like you'll see a lot of designers use it because it is such a power color in like a home office
I can see that.
But you do want to have natural light, right? Or else you are going to just be like wandering in the dark. So it's best as an accent color, and black works well with high contrast environments, right? So black and white, very timeless. You think of like black and white marble floors, right? Timeless. Black as an accent color paired with neutrals, extremely classy. Black looks wonderful with tans and those beigey neutral colors. It's works well, black and red, those are two very power colors. They're more sensual. So you've got to kind of pick your vibe. Black and like purple in the lavender. Black and lavender is a very kind of sensual, feminine combination. I'm trying to think. Well, and then you think about Halloween, black and orange, right? And that's more associated with that kind of witch aspect, right? So it's interesting to see how we culturally pair these things. But
Right.
it's a glamour color.
It is a glare. And when you were talking, I just kept seeing like pieces of like incredibly shiny black lacquer furniture.
Exactly.
Things like, remember when that was like a huge fad, like in the 80s. Yeah.
It is now.
And it is
It's
now. I
totally
mean,
back.
at the 80s.
Right. We there. It's back now.
Or are there like black handbags, black clothing, black,
But black looks really beautiful on metals, in stones, black marbles, floor tiles, black marble backsplashes are very in right now. And they just add an air of wealth and sophistication.
Cool. Well, in feng shui, black is most often linked with a water element, overtly linked with water element. And so it's very often, very, very often used in the career life path sector of a space or a house to enhance, career prospects and life path clarity, things like this. It can be used to create a sense of depth and mystery in a space, especially when used with an accent color, when you're going through the exercise of balancing, not just your colors, but also the elements with those colors. Using black as a sub-in from water, essentially. It's often used in protection and warding off negative energy or influences, similar to how red is about protection and attracting energy. This is about protecting energy and warding off negative
Obsidian.
Exactly. So, again, it's used as a cure. It's a color that's used as a cure, a feng shui cure in different types of spaces. It is the most yin of the yin-yang spectrum. We're going to get to white, which is the most yang of the colors. But black is the most yin. Other yin colors would be kind of the ones we've been recently doing. Purple's very yin. Blue is very yin. Those are very yin. Green can be yin depending on the shade.
I think it'd be young too.
And it can be young depending on the shade, whereas, reds, oranges, yellows, and some of the greens tend to be more young. Black certainly anchors the yin side of the yin yang. In terms of planetary astrology, I think I mentioned it again in the last episode. It's associated with Saturn and Saturday, which makes a ton of sense, right? Saturn is the furthest planet from us, that we can see with the visible eye, with the naked eye, I mean. And so, it's associated more with like deep black space. Of course, we've all seen pictures of Saturn. It's not actually black. It's like, colors, and it's got rings around it. And it's really beautiful, actually, but it's very often linked with like old man time and the depths of space. It's a slow moving planet. It takes like 28 years to get around the sun. And so for those reasons, Saturn, Saturday, black. In terms of black and the embodied goddess, I cannot wait to see what we have here. I only have 4. So I'm going to let you go first because you have
a little more. So I have Nut, which was, she's a German and Scandinavian goddess. She's the goddess of the night. And she crosses the sky in a chariot drawn by a black horse.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to go. I have Nut, N-U-T. It looks like it says nut, but it's pronounced newt. It's an Egyptian goddess of the stars, and she is depicted as a night sky woman arching over the world. And so, she takes the form of the night sky arching over the planet. And that is a goddess named Nut.
Because hers is N-O-T-T.
Yeah, I know. When you said that, I thought, oh, we have a match. No, but no, we don't. Okay.
Saint Bridget, the triple goddess, one of her faces of the crone is black.
Fair enough. Okay. I have Hecate, the witch crone goddess of Greece, associated with crossroads and depth of consciousness. But I chose her because of that dark crone aspect.
Yes, goddess of transition, dying in the crone. We have a match.
We have a match.
Freya, goddess of war, celebration, and sexuality, power goddess.
Okay. Of course, I have black Tara.
Yes.
We have got every shade of color with Tara. She's unstoppable, Tibetan goddess of power who rules spirits and exorcisms.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Persephone has popped up again. Her aspect of the goddess of the underworld. She calls in black.
Okay. This is my final one, and this is like Dead Ringer, black, Kali.
Yeah.
Hindu goddess of time, destroyer aspect of the goddess, associated with black holes. Kali is very often depicted as just black, head to toe, with like a big red dripping blood mouth.
Yep.
Destroyer goddess.
10,000 arms and legs.
Kali. Yeah.
White buffalo calf woman. She is a Native American goddess of peace and mother of life. Her colors are the 4 directions, so white, yellow, red, and black.
Okay. All right. And do you have another?
I have one more, Rhiannon, the Celtic goddess of the sun, endurance, and inspiration, but she's also depicted as a sorceress, so she embodies that.
She gets that witch. Okay, cool. Anything else to say at this time about black?
I would say, where does black show up for you? Are you a dedicated, classic black? Where is your car black? How do you associate with black? Do you associate black with power and sophistication, or as kind of a depressing color? Are you a little black dress girl? Do you wear black suits? Where does black show up in your home?
Are you Steve Jobs and you wear a black turtleneck every damn day?
Is that your uniform? How do you use black, or do you avoid it at all costs?
Right. I think black is probably overly used, honestly, specifically in clothing. But
because we want to blend in.
We want to blend in.
Are you hiding in black?
You are.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. I think we've covered our basis with black. So you're listening to the Living Mandala podcast.